Hey, what's up? My name is Tyson Brown and I want to welcome you to Tyson's Fitness Tips podcast. This is Australia's top health and fitness podcast to help you lose weight, look good with your shirt off, feel confident in your body, and finally achieve the goals you want with your health and fitness. So 5 days a week, I'm going to be giving you top information from myself and also from leading experts in the field so you know everything you need to do to get in the best shape of your life. From nutrition to mindset to workout, everything is covered in this podcast and you need to go nowhere else. So like I said, it's going to be 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, in your ears with quick actionable segments that you can implement straight away, because the most important thing is that you can put these things into play. Also, if you listen all the way to the end of the episode, you're going to get 2 special gifts that you can download upon listening to it. So make sure you listen all the way to the end to get those free gifts, okay? So let's get into the episode. Good morning. It is Sunday, I'm doing my walk, and this is the first time it's actually been pretty nippy. It's 11 degrees at the moment, which is like, I think that's 51 or 52 Fahrenheit, which I have no idea if that is even close or not, because Fahrenheit just completely throws me under the bus. I have no idea. But anyways, doing my walk, it's Sunday morning. It's the perfect time because I get a long time to walk around since I've got no work today. And that means I can talk to you guys for the next 50 minutes with some podcasts. So today, we're going to be talking about eating at night and getting fat. Because I had this huge problem whenever I eat at night, that seems to be when I eat the most amount of calories, and that seems to be when I've ruined my progress. Now, the reason for this isn't actually because I'm eating at night. It's because nighttime eating is associated with me sitting around doing nothing, having cravings, and eating all the shitty food. And that's what people need to understand. It's not that eating at night is quote unquote bad for you, but what that's doing is that you've got an association at nighttime usually when that's with dessert foods, when it's with hearty foods, when it's hungry, when you're bored, when you come home and you've got no willpower from work. And what that actually does is, it's not the carbs that are causing you to get fat, it's you're eating more calories than you burn during the day, and you're no longer in a deficit, and that's what makes you gain weight. So I guess it must have been, I'm going to say about 12 years ago now, which was like 2007. Yeah, since probably the 2000s, they talked about how eating carbs at night was bad. You shouldn't do it because it's going to cause you to gain fat. And then probably around 2010 to 2012, they proved that it wasn't actually carbohydrates getting you fat, and it was just overconsumption of calories, which is the problem, right? And so that gave people an opportunity to eat carbs at night again, and to eat food at night again, and they could still lose weight, which is awesome, because those people who did enjoy having nighttime food, finding out that they can have it and not worry about gaining weight, is fantastic, because it gave them the flexibility back. However, for some people, like myself, eating at nighttime is just not good. Once you kind of had that floodgate open, or once you come home and your willpower is low, and you tell yourself, I can have food at night, it's not going to make me fat. If you aren't tracking those calories and you don't have the willpower to stop, it is so easy to go over calories at night time. And it's because, one of the reasons which not a lot of people are going to touch on, is that when you eat at night, you're at home, right? You're in a comfortable setting, no one can really see you, and you're not going to be judged. Usually you're alone in the kitchen. So you can be a little pig, you can eat as much as you want, and no one's really it's not out of the normal. It's just like, I'm gonna go and have a binge, and you can judge yourself, but no one else is gonna be there to judge you, if you know what I mean. However, you wouldn't do that at work, or you wouldn't do that at areas where people can see you, because you don't want to be judged. Now, I know that sounds weird, but that's actually true, because that is not an ordinary thing to binge eat everything and to go crazy and eat. And so you wouldn't do that during the day, which is why, and you've also got a routine, and you don't have as much willpower, and you have more willpower, which is why most of the time you're able to stay on track with your calories during the day. But then when it comes to night time, if you're like, yep, I'm gonna have my carbs or whatever it is, then you crave those sweets and you crave those sugars and you crave everything else. And you're like, oh, I might grab a little bit here, I might grab a little bit there. And then what happens is that you end up overeating your calories. And especially if you're like me and you were slightly overweight when you were growing up. I mean, I was never huge, I was never fat, but I was overweight. And one of the reasons is because every night I would have dinner, I would finish everything on my plate. My parents would say, if you finish everything on your plate, you can have dessert. And so I was a good boy. I would always finish everything on my plate. No matter what it was, whether it was spaghetti bolognese, which is lots of pasta and all that stuff, or whether it was steak and veggies with a mashed potato and pumpkin, which would be mashed potato, cream, milk, pumpkin, all mashed into one. It tasted amazing. Clearly not a lot of nutrition there, but I would eat anything, right? I would eat it all, clean off my plate, then came dessert. And dessert was usually ice cream. We had this like chocolate topping stuff. I think it was called magic chocolate. You know, you'd squeeze on top and it'd go, like it'd be liquid, but then you'd put it on the ice cream and go really hard. That would be it, or some nights it would be a Milo with some milk, or a frozen. There were so many things, right? And I can just imagine it now, like I'm actually getting hungry talking to you about this. But having all those things as good foods, like they're my rewards for eating all of my vegetables, it's ingrained the habit that, oh, I need a sweet, I need a dessert after I've been a good boy. And having that reinforcement of like, oh yeah, I've been good, like that's what I associate with being good. So I'm always chasing those foods at night time. And so having that cut-off time for me of not eating at night isn't because the carbs are what's making me fat. It's because I'm able to stop myself from having those treats. Because when I say, no, I don't eat at night, that disassociates everything. I'm like, okay, it's 5:30, no more food, I'm good. And what that's doing is putting me in the frame of mind of like, okay, I'm not gonna have dinner and then a treat. It's like, no, I'm just not eating. And having that little switch has helped me stay on my calories. And I might do the same for you. So you've got to figure out what's gonna suit you best and what you, like, you know, can you eat at night time and not overeat? And if you can, that's awesome. Then you can do it. Because the biggest picture here is the calories. And even if I save myself, like I've tried to save myself 1,000, 2,000 calories at night. Actually, it's funny because, you know, I've done big fasts before and had 2,400 calories to eat in one night. I could just sit down, eat a huge bowl, like eat so much, and then go on to eat dessert after. Because we always make room for dessert. And there's also another reason for that. There's also this thing called the satiety index, which is going a bit deep, but I'll tell you about it anyways. The satiety index, basically, you will get palate fatigue eating the exact same food. Like if you just had steak and you're eating lots of steak, you can be like, oh my God, I'm so full from steak. But then when you have something, the complete contrast, so if you have steak and it's hot and it's chewy, then all of a sudden ice cream is on the menu. You can quote unquote make room for ice cream. And it's not that you've made room in your stomach, it's that you're having something different and the brain is now no longer fatigued. And the stomach is going to expand even more because you can expand your stomach a fair bit. And so having quote unquote room for ice cream is simply because you're changing from a hot meal to a cold meal or vice versa. That's why people can eat, if you ever watch the, what are they called? The competitive eaters. Once they start to get palate fatigue, what they do is they will, this one guy, there's a story, he was doing, I think it was a ice cream sink, a sink full of ice cream, which I don't even know how they measure that, but he started to get palate fatigue. So he ordered in salty French fries to eat because he couldn't eat any more ice cream. He had the salty French fries. Then he went and finished the ice cream that he couldn't finish before because of that contrast. And so that's why a lot of people can make room for dessert after they have a hot, warm meal. So for me, being brought up knowing that I like to have dessert because it's like a quote unquote treat, is that I'll just not eat dinner. So for me, eating past 6 o'clock is a no-go. But that's just my personal preference. I know I would love to be able to eat past 6 o'clock, but I know if I do, it sends me on a downward spiral. And so maybe for you, it'll be easier if you don't, or you do. But remember, there's no right or wrong. There's no you have to or you don't. The thing you need to be most aware of is making sure that you're staying in that calorie deficit. And if you can stay in that calorie, like let's say you can eat all day, you've still got some calories left, you have dinner, you've still got 300 calories left, and then you can have a Halo Top and not have anything else, or you can have a Ben & Jerry's ice cream because you got the calories, and you can have not anything else, and you can stay under the weight, then great, that's awesome. Then you can eat carbs and food at night. But if you're like me, and you know that's gonna send you on a downward spiral, then just don't do it. And eat further away from bed, and stop eating as close to night as possible, and just go from there. Plus, some people actually notice their sleep gets better when they eat further away from dinner, because some people get GERD, which is gastrointestinal reflux. And if you eat further away from dinner because your food isn't be digested, you will not get GERD when you lay down. So it can be a win-win for some people. So I hope that was helpful. Just remember, eating food at night is not going to make you fat if you stay on eating calories. But if you can't handle it, then it's not for you. Okie dokie. Speak to you soon.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate it. So now you've listened all the way to the end. That means you get some free goodies. So what you can do is you've got two different options, or you can take them both. I've got an intermittent fasting cheat sheet and a high protein 20 recipe meal guide designed specifically for you in your situation. These meal plans and this intermittent fasting guide are designed to help you burn stubborn belly fat and get in the best shape of your life. So all you have to do is go to the show notes, click on the download link, and they'll get sent straight to your email address. It's as simple as that. They're completely free. They're going to help you transform your body. So go to the show notes now and download your free guides, and I'll speak to you in the next episode.